All right. Welcome back, my fellow agents. It is I, X7, your master of the mystical menace that is Denorama, the podcast of heroes and monsters. That means I am the host in fancy terms. Today we are reviewing the 1964 Hammer movie, The Gorgon, which Sven and Guli aired last night, and I watched most of. The beginning, well, the middle, and the end. Well, I guess that's most of it. And I found it interesting, but it does, well, we'll get into that. Before we do, please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. Let me know what you think about the movie. Let me know what you think about Hammer. If you like their early stuff, their middle stuff, their later stuff. I like a little bit of all of it, but and this has some very positive notes in it. Also, well, it won't take too long. So if you could just watch the whole thing, it'd really help the algorithm. And having said all that, are you ready? Let's roll. And I should be quoting Bob Dylan's rainy day, everybody must get stoned. And you'll know why, because it's the Gorgon. All right, now let's roll. I did look it up in the small break, and it is Bob Dylan, Rainy Day Women 12 and 35. So, not known. It's not generally known by that title. Anyway, we have the credits here. Christopher Lee, top billed, and Peter Cushing in The Gorgon. 1964 Hammer Films. It was also released by Columbia Pictures. In this country, it runs a whopping 83 minutes. It was released in the United Kingdom October 18th, 1964, and probably sometime, about a year later, well, half a year later, it was also supported by Curse of the Mummy's Tomb. We might have reviewed that one already. I don't remember which mummy movie we've reviewed here. A lot. It does have a little scroll here about the came to live here, and it is takes place in 1910 Germany in the village of Vandorf. So some things go screwing in there. So here we have, we start out with this young man. I want to say that's Martha there with her back toward us and Bruno Heights. Yeah, he's a bohemian. He's an artist, as you can tell, and she's pregnant, so he's going to go do the right thing with her dad. And I don't know which one that is. Let me go back up here. Sasha is her name. That would be Sasha, played by Tony Gilpin, Sasha Cass. And she pleads with him not to. She runs out there, and then there's the castle. Dun dun dun. I think that's a matte painting behind the trees. It's beautiful, and she sees something horrible.
Oh, gee, what was that?
It was frightening, wasn't it?
It was horror.
Hey, you know what, Colin?
What, Ryan?
That's what all the songs on this CD set are about. Horror.
Are you saying that every song on this CD album has to do with horror?
You bet I am. 800 songs on 300 CDs.
That's
all about horror.
It is the night of a full moon, so keep that in mind. Incidentally, this print came from the Internet Archive. It's beautiful, but I believe it was recorded from Turner Classic Movies. The movie was directed by Terrence Fisher and screenplay by several people, blah, blah, blah. Barbara Shelley is our other lead, and we've already seen the two main ones. Music is by James Bernard, who does quite well. I think the budget was £150,000. I don't know what it made, but it probably made money. That's so far. I mean, it's got beautiful atmosphere here, and then we turn to the Vandorf Medical Institution, and of course, that's run by one Dr. Namaroff, played by Peter Cushing. I don't think we need to talk about his credentials. That's his assistant, Carla Hoffman, as played by Barbara Shelley. who is good, but he's the doctor there in charge of murders and stuff. There's the constable, and he's played by one Patrick Troughton or Troughton. I don't know how you say that actually. We know him as the second doctor, and I've made a couple allusions here. Later on, you'll see, but he's hardly recognizable, but you can tell if you listen, you can hear it's the doctor. So they're wanting to know about these murders. There have been 7 murders in 5 years, and we see that Martha, no, not Martha, Sasha has been petrified, turned to stone. She's turned to stone when you were gone. And then we have a crazy woman who gets away. She's crazy and biting people. So they throw a bunch of red herrings in here about who could be the killer. But what could cause people to turn to stone? And there she is. They do the statues look really good. And there he is with his companion. I mean, his lieutenant or his sergeant maybe. And they found the young man that he's been killed and hanged. So the whole inquest happens because they're trying to hush things up. Here we go. They're saying that, but there's his father, and his father's played by Professor, that's Michael, yes, Michael Goodliff. And he shows up. He's like, I'm going to find out and clear my son's name. And that's her dad there. Janus. I think that's Alistair Williamson as Janus Cass or Janus. Yeah, I'm pretty sure, I guess. So they have a discussion, and he's like, I'm staying here until I find out who killed my son. And then have you heard of Megara, who is the third Gorgon sister? Now, we all know about Medusa. Everyone knows about Medusa, but a lot of people don't realize there were actually 3 Gorgon sisters, although 2 of them were immortal. Medusa was human due to the god's whim, Poseidon being annoyed, or Athena being annoyed at Poseidon for seducing Medusa in her temple and changing, because she couldn't punish her uncle, she had to punish the mortal, because gods are capricious at times that way. You would think the goddess of wisdom would figure out a way to punish the actual culprit. Be that as it may, that is just because she's my goddess, one of them, doesn't mean I have a preferential view of her. So Megara is the third surviving Gorgon, or possibly. They don't ever name the second one, and I really should have looked up the second one's name, but they were supposedly immortal. But discussion here, discussion there. The Vendorf legend. And a bunch of ruffians burst in. They're threatening to burn the place down. Fortunately, a temporal investigator, the inspector, shows up. That mustache does him no favors, and it does kind of move. But he was still 2 years away from assuming the mantle of the second doctor. But he's like, get out of town. You should leave now. Bad things will happen. But he writes to his other son, who is Paul Heitz, played by Richard Pascoe, who, I don't know. And there he is with his professor, who is Karl Meister, if you're a fan of Puppetoons. And that is Christopher Lee, who is phenomenal here. He is the lead and the actual hero. And we do hear the haunting call of a siren. And there's the castle again. And he looks, there she is. Now, the Gorgon is played by Prudence. No, that's Patience. Prudence Hyman. Yes. And that's all we don't get too good a look at her for very long. Apparently, so that's the Gorgon there. And he starts turning to stone. Apparently it's a slow process because he makes his way back to the house. His butler sees what's going on. As he's turning, he's writing it in English, even though they're in Germany. Keep that in mind, and then his son, finally, Paul, shows up. He's like, my dad's dead. My brother's dead. What's going on? And they're covering up. So they figure it's a cover-up. He's a good artist. This movie is shot beautifully. I mean, Terrence Fisher, I don't remember if he's in one of the the Hammer director I liked the most because some of them were better than others. As a director, let's get down here. Let's get into the 60s. Oh, Hound of Baskervilles. Revenge of Frankenstein. Did he do Brides of Dracula? Probably the horror of Dracula. Yeah, Dracula, aka Horror of Dracula. He's the one I like the most because he is uh, really good. So he did all of these up until 67. Devil Rides Out. Yeah, he did a lot of them actually. So, but it's really well shot too. Let's see, cinematography by Michael Reed is awesome. So it's a beautifully shot. It is dripping with atmosphere. So I mean, you can watch it for that. It's a short movie and it's not objectionable by any stretch. It's just kind of talky for a long spate of it. And of course, what's his guts? There, Dr. Namaroff is in love with Carla. She's not in love with him. And these two fall in love. He goes out, there she is, but he's only seen her reflection. So apparently that won't kill you, ask Perseus, because they actually mention Perseus and Medusa. I'm sure that would please a certain friend of mine. Oh, yeah, I was going to put a little Medusa clip in here too. Let's do that.
You... you saved me.
I never wanted to hurt you, but
How touching!
Yes, I know there's a Gorgon. There's an inhuman named Gorgon, but Medusa's just cooler. And someone in Marvel Comics had a thing about redheads. I don't know who it is. I'm not saying it's Stan, but someone sure did because there's a lot. Anyway, our hero, semi-hero, Paul, staggers off after seeing the Medusa and ages like 5 years overnight, or while he's uh, let's see. There we go here. So he staggers back. He's old, and there she is. That's his first. So he's in love with her, and then old Namaroff there is examining him because he's the local doctor. Shows him that look, you've changed, and so there you go. And he can't explain why. And he says, "Good day, sir." I said, "Good day," because he's like, I want an explanation. Like, nope. So he digs up his father's grave. There it is. He finds out he's been turned to stone. When you are gone, I turned to stone. I could have had the ELO, so I wouldn't have had to sing it, but that's not as much fun. Then he sees a figure who turns out to be Carla. I mean, she looks very spectral there, or very witchy, if you will. They want to leave, but he's in love with her. But then Professor Carl Meister shows up. There's a great scene where he just shows. Now, it looks like Christopher Lee is having so much fun in this role because he's like berates him. He's like, in a playful manner, but he's just really engaging here. So I wish he would have been the hero in more movies. But he's just so much fun, and that voice just gives him such a commanding presence. He could have been the hero more often. So Martha, the crazy woman who bit people, is dead. And he takes her brain out to look at it. And now they're having a discussion. And he's dressed like Sherlock Holmes. I don't think he ever played Sherlock Holmes. He was in The Hound of the Baskervilles. And I have decided that at some point in time, we're going to do a spate of Sherlock Holmes movies. Maybe when Sven airs stuff that I've seen or reviewed already, we'll do a Sherlock Holmes movie. Because the Internet Archive is full of them. And I really do enjoy them. I've read all of Conan Doyle's movies. But he's got the coat, the pipe, and everything. And the doctor, the inspector does not have his recorder. So there she is. This is when she got to 1903. So she's been there 7 years, and 7 murders have occurred. So something's going on, and he's like, something's going on. they know that something's going on. Do, 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 do. No, it's not my Phil Collins Excedrin number 11 headache drumming going on. But he won't tell. Nobody tells him because whenever she's had periods of amnesia, we discover that then as well. And trying to call him, somebody's going to the castle. And look at their stone bodies everywhere. And there she is. Look how regal she looks. Now we've already seen her in Children of the Damned. And I think that's all we've seen her in. She's been in she was in Village of the Damned. Pardon me. Children of the Damned was the sequel. And Dracula, Prince of Darkness. Did I review that? I don't remember anymore. Yes, I did. And we will get to Quatermass in the Pit eventually because I like those movies as well. But we have seen her and we'll see her again. They're happy and in love. She says, let's leave now. But he says, no, we can't. And he's on there. And there's that's Namarov's henchman, who is not Hans, Ratov, Jack Watson as Ratov. He's getting ready to kill him with a knife, but Karl Meister, Saruman, and whatever count he was in one of those Star Wars movies, shows up and saves him, but he throws the knife and thunk. Nice looking knife, though. So he goes in and Meister goes in and sneaks through Namarov's files, hides from him. I mean, it is a very moody movie, but it's just not. I mean, it's nice that it's kind of got because this killer only shows up on the full moon, so it's kind of a variation on a werewolf legend. And again, I don't know if I reviewed Curse of the Werewolf recently, but I have watched it. This is not my favorite werewolf movie. He goes over it. He doesn't believe that she's possessed by Megara, the spirit of the third Gorgon sister. But there she shows up, and and he sends her on the train to go back to Leipzig or wherever. The constable shows up. So does Namarov. I'll arrest you. Here, give your knife back to your man. And it looks like he's going to stab him. Geez, I swear, if Christopher Lee is holding a knife against me, I would be worried that he's going to stab me. But he slaps his student and says, go there, but he gets out anyway. They come to arrest old Paul. He's not there, and look where we're back to. Yep. He's like, I don't know where he is, so off they go. He's trying to find her, and Namarov is there. He's going to kill her because he can't handle it anymore. And they have a fight. Well, they have a fight with a chandelier, a lamp holder, a giant candelabra, and a sword. It's not horrible. It's not great, but it's not horrible. It's the most exciting thing that happens in the movie. And there she is. There is Prudence Hyman, who was a dancer, and they wanted to get her because dancers move in a certain way where you don't move your shoulders, so you look like you're gliding. Now, Barbara Shelley wanted to do it with live snakes in her hair. These are mechanical mock-ups, which are not great, honestly, but you don't see them that long, and it's only with DVD and, being able to pause and things. But the makeup's all right. He looks at her, gets zapped, and starts turning to stone. Now, this is not bad. She scales. The snakes are not bad, but there's a Medusa, there's a Gorgon that's way more impressive. Even I've got to admit it because it is a top 10 sequence. When we get to Clash of the Titans, I will gush it. Well, that might take 2 episodes, but poor Paul sees her and she's coming down. There she zaps him, but I mean, really, come on. That is, a 1.5 foot tall puppet. And I'm sorry, Prudence. That's not your fault that the makeup doesn't do you justice. That's not a bad shot, but these are obviously plastic. They move a little bit, but yeah. See, you can see Meister is behind her picking up the sword, and unfortunately, Paul has seen her. He chops her head off. Kaplunk. Paul turns to stone. He says, she's free now, Paul. She's free. And she turns back, she fades back into Carla. No surprise there. Also a redhead. Interesting. she's free. So there we go. And that's the end of it right then and there.
What are you doing tonight?
The same thing we do every night, Pinky.
What?
Never mind.
So all in all, it's a fun. It's a fun movie. It's the right length. It's just not. There's a lot of talking, which happened in the later Hammers. Sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes. The cast is excellent. The music's excellent. It's just there's just something lacking that we don't see the Gorgon. And I guess not. I mean, I can see what they're doing. It's just not that engaging. I mean, only Christopher Lee is likable, really, because Paul is a little too obsessive. He won't listen to reason. Anyway, I liked it. I don't need to watch it again. But tomorrow we will be talking about the next five episodes of Speed Racer to get a little caught up here, and that'll be fun. So until our next assignment, this is X7 signing off, and remember, the sun never sets on those who ride into it.
Alloy wheels, chrome details, custom paint, premium stereo. The Mystery Machine has room for 5, and the power and handling you expect from a quality driving machine. What the? Oh! Speed Racer on Cartoon Network.
Dogs should not drive.